อยู่เมืองนี้โอเคไหมทุกคนเมืองนี้บรรยากาศที่เหมาะกับการศึกษาจริงๆเมืองนี้
ดีครับ
เมืองมันสวยนะพี่ชอบ
มีทริปทุกเสาร์เลย
แมงโก้อะตอบเร็วสุด
โก้แบบมีเซอร์วิสมายก็ไม่ปล่อยให้เด็กรอนาน
พี่ออมฟังนี่ร้องไห้แล้วตอนเนี้ย
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today. So my name is Jim Myton, International Officer at the University of Exeter. So my remit includes part of Southeast Asia. So I've been to Thailand a few times. And I also go to lots of other places, but not so much at the moment, but hopefully that will all change quite soon. And obviously that will have an impact on how you study next year when you join a university in the UK, and hopefully, like I say, all of the travel issues and things like that will not be so much of a problem that they have been for the last year and a half, 2 years. So what I'm going to do is introduce you to the University of Exeter. I won't talk about specific programs because hopefully we'll have time for you to ask questions about the programs that you're interested in. And I won't talk to start with about our entry requirements because they're very much different depending on the programs that you actually apply for. So again, that's something you can ask after I've gone through this quick presentation. So for those of you who don't know where Exeter is, and there are lots of reasons for that, we're based in the southwest of the UK. So Exeter itself is a small city. It has a population of about 125,000 people, and it's about 2.5 hours by train from London. So it's quite easy to get to. We also, we have 4 different campuses. So the first two, the Streatham campus and the St Luke's campus, are in Exeter, and the Streatham campus is the main campus, so that's where the majority of students are. The St Luke's campus, which is about 5 minutes away from where I live, is home to programs to do with anything medical related, sports science, and also postgraduate education programs. And then we also have 2 campuses in Cornwall, which is another 2 hours by train away from Exeter. So we have the main Penryn campus, which is home to about 2,500 students. And then we have a small campus, which is part of the medical school at a hospital in Truro. So I'll just quickly show you some pictures of the campus environment. So these are on the main Streatham campus, which used to be a kind of private estate, and it's got lots of open spaces like this, lots of trees. It's kind of like a campus on a parkland, if you like. So there are loads of open spaces that students can go and relax in between their lectures and tutorials. So this is what Exeter looks like from above. So you can see the campus on the sort of right-hand side of the picture. So one of the important things is that everything that you would need for your everyday studies is on the campus. You don't really need to leave the campus at all. So a lot of the accommodation, but not all of it, is around the edge of the campus. Then all of the academic buildings and things like the library, different cafes and restaurants, sports facilities, you can see those on the right-hand side. They're all in the one place. So it's really, really convenient. Some of the other accommodation is nearer to the city centre. So it's just up to students to decide which accommodation they prefer. Roughly half of the international students prefer to live in the city centre. But as you can see, the city centre, which is in the kind of top left-hand corner up here, is very, very close to the university. So it's about a 15-minute walk or a 10-minute bus journey. one of the things that's really, really different from being in Bangkok in particular and being in Exeter is that, you know, we don't have a BTS or anything like that. We have buses, but most of the time it's actually easier to walk. It's very safe to walk. It's not very crowded like it is in Bangkok. So it's quite easy to get from one place to the other and work out how long it takes to get from one place to the other. The city centre is also very compact. So everything that you might want in terms of shopping, restaurants, cinemas, anything like that is within a very short distance. You don't have to go from shopping mall to shopping mall. So it's a really convenient city to live in. And as you can see from the picture, not far outside of Exeter, you've got the countryside. And that's one of the reasons why the Southwest is very, very popular for, in particular, tourists in the summer, because there's lots of open spaces, there's lots of coastline with great beaches that you can visit quite easily as a student from Exeter. So it offers a very different environment to some of the other universities that you may be looking at that may be in London or Birmingham or Manchester, the bigger kind of cities. Exeter has kind of got a unique environment, and it's very, very student-friendly place. In the middle of the campus, we have what's known as the Forum building, which was opened just under 10 years ago by the Queen. And inside of that, there is the library, which you can see to the left-hand side. There is our biggest lecture theatre, which holds up to 400 people. There are lots of other teaching spaces. There are about 4 different coffee shops. There's a supermarket, which I can show you here. So the supermarket is down there. And then also we have our student information desk here, which is where you can go to get various administrative things done. And more importantly, there's the Careers and Employability Service. So they're there to advise you at any stage of your study about all aspects of employability, be it from, you know, what companies are looking for graduates, to how can I fill in an application form or prepare my CV, give you advice and even mock interviews. So they do the whole range of things. So this is just a view across the city. So like I say, it's very, very different to cities in Thailand. It's not a high-rise city, and it's very easy to find your way around. So one of the things that you can see in the middle there is the cathedral. So basically, if you can see the cathedral, you can't be lost, because you can just walk towards the cathedral and then you'll realize where you are. So it means that it's a very relaxing place to study, because you're not constantly rushing from one place to another, wondering how long it'll take you. You don't have to worry about the traffic, because you can walk. It just makes for a very convenient lifestyle. So as I mentioned, the Southwest is really, really popular with tourists, partly because of the location, the weather, but also there are lots of tourist attractions. So at the top in the middle there is the Eden project, which you may have heard about. And that attracts huge amounts of people in the summer in particular. And Exeter itself is a mixture of a very old and a very modern city. So its history goes back over 2,000 years. And so there are lots of historical, really, really interesting buildings. But it's also got very modern shopping facilities. And like I say, lots of leisure activities. And so it's very, very popular for students in the evening to go into the city and go and find places to eat, or go and see a film, or whatever you wanted to do. So like I say, I won't talk about individual programs to start with, but the university is basically divided into these 6 academic colleges, and whichever subject you are interested in studying, you would be based in one of these colleges. So I won't describe them all in detail, but we have engineering, maths and physical sciences, humanities, which covers things like modern languages, archaeology that you can see here, history, drama, life and environmental sciences, which is a very wide spectrum of courses, from things like geography to biochemistry and all sorts of things in between. And we have social sciences and international studies, which is quite popular for Thai students, particularly for law, international relations, those kind of things, and also postgraduate education programs. The business school is pretty much self-explanatory, and again, that's popular with international students as a whole, but Thai students in particular. And then we have the medical school. So on our website, you can see different students from Thailand and what they say about studying in Exeter. And they all seem to very much enjoy being in Exeter, as you can see from what this student has said. So you can go on that page and have a look at the other testimonials that we have as well. So again, we've got the Streatham campus. This picture's taken about this time of year when the leaves start changing colour. So it's very different throughout the year, because the weather changes a lot, and it means that it has a different atmosphere throughout the year. So just a few facts and figures. So we have well over 20,000 students from all over the world. We've got a big alumni community, again, all over the world, and our staff are very much international as well. So we do have quite a lot of students from Thailand, but we have students from all sorts of different countries. So you get to meet people from very different backgrounds. We're actually now in the top 150 universities in the world. So that's both in the Times Higher and the QS global rankings. So one of the things that students are always questioning, asking about, is accommodation. So we can guarantee university accommodation for first year undergraduates as well as all international postgraduates. And it's up to you whether you choose self-catered, catered. We also have family accommodation for students who want to bring their family with them. All of the university accommodation has a residence life team, and they're just there to make sure everyone's okay. If you go on the website, you can look at virtual tours of all the accommodation. So this is just the university accommodation, but as I say, there's also private options available as well. So we have a very active student population. They get involved in all sorts of different things. So whatever your extracurricular interests are, you'll usually find like-minded students who have formed a society, and so you can carry on with your interests, be they sporty, artistic, musical, whatever it is. There are also plenty of opportunities for volunteering, fundraising, or you could also represent your fellow students. So we have committees where the students have the opportunity to feed back to the university about different aspects of their program. That's really, really important because it helps us to constantly improve the way that we do things. So I mentioned that music, arts and culture, lots of different options in the city centre, so different theatres, cinemas and whatever else you're interested in. We also have an international student support team, and they offer a range of services for international students, starting with immigration advice, so getting your visa. We arrange an airport meet and greet service, so just before the academic year starts, we have staff and students who can meet you off your flight when you get into London Heathrow, and we arrange coaches that will then take you to your accommodation. So it sorts out the worry of having to arrange your own travel. They publish newsletters for students. They have a wide-ranging social program throughout the year. And they also have what we call global chums. So students who've been here for a year or two can pair up with new students, and they can just offer you advice. You know, if you're looking to buy a coat, they'll tell you what's the best shop or whatever it is. So the tuition fees are all available on our website. So you can see how much the fees are. The living expenses, this is a bit of a strange thing because you may have to prove for the visa and immigration purposes that you can show that you have just over £1,000 per month to cover your living expenses. But actually in Exeter, you can usually get by quite easily with about £800 per month. So that would include your accommodation, food, textbooks, anything else you can think of. And we do have a variety of different scholarships. The main one is the Global Excellence Awards, and that applies for the majority of MSc programs, as well as some undergraduate programs. The important things to notice are that you have to have an offer first. So you have to apply for your program, be made an offer before you can apply for the scholarship. And also bear in mind that there are deadlines. So it's always a good idea to apply quite early so that when you get your offer, you're in a position to meet the deadline for the scholarships. So usually when we're traveling, and we would attend different events that are hosted by our representatives like Mango, we bring with us loads of paper brochures, but that's not happening at the moment, but you can download those from our website. We do work with various agents, and Mango are your first port of call. They can help you with your application. They can have a look at your transcripts and advise you which programs are suitable for you and which ones you would qualify for. But there are other ways of finding out about the university. Some of you may be influenced by rankings and league tables. The one thing I would say with those is they go up and down, but they can be a good guide as to the quality of the university. They're also a guide as to how difficult it can be to get into a university, because generally the higher ranked universities have the higher entry requirements. And then, of course, it all happened way after I was your age, but all of the social media. So we're active on lots of these different social media channels. So you can see films about the university, pictures about the university, student stories. Students sometimes write blogs as well. So there's lots of different ways to find out a bit more.